just there. Hi, everybody. So good to see you all wherever you're at. I hope it's a beautiful day. It is for me out here in California. It's sunny, it's beautiful, it's a nice temperature. And I am good to go. So for those who don't know me, I am Laura Biewer. I am the founder of Coach Me Laura. I provide state-specific training to notaries across the United States. I'm also the founder for Notary Symposium, the annual notary event of the year. And with me today is my partner in crime, Bill Soroka. Do you have a moment to introduce yourself, Bill? Can't hear you.
Hello and welcome. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
All right. My name is Bill Soroka, founder of NotaryCoach.com and author of Sign and Thrive, How to Make Six Figures as a Mobile Notary and Loan Signing Agent, and co-founder of the Notary Business Builder. I'm excited to be here at TNT today. Thanks, Laura.
Thank you, Bill. All right. So you guys know the drill, right? Every week we hold this call and the purpose is to help do laser coaching and answer questions to as many of you as we can. If you guys watch the participants list, sometimes we get up to 300. So you raise your hand. If you don't know how to raise your hand, down at the bottom, there's some little icons there. And if you push the little reactions button, that's one of the ways, it'll say raise hand. And if you do that, then you'll get in line and we will get to your question. Also, because we have so many experienced notaries on the call as well, we've got stuff going on in the chat. So if you want to post something in the chat or ask a question in the chat, you'll get people who will respond to you. When Bill and I are running this, we're really focused on the person asking the question, and we may or may not be able to catch what's going on over there. But the chat is also a great resource if you find that we're not getting to you in particular. And I do find that one person asks a question and there's about 10 other notaries who had the same question. So today we're going to get started with Gia's iPad. And let me get to participants so I can, oh, that's a little too big. We'll try that again.
And then just as a reminder, when you get called on, make sure you tell us what state you're in and jump right into your question.
All right. Thank you. Okay. So Gia, we don't have camera, but you look unmuted. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, Gia, what's your question?
Bill and Laura, first I want to say thank you for having this, and thank you because you all helped me become a preferred notary with BankServe. So that was huge. Thank you for that. So that leads to my question. I'm in Southern California, and I have $100,000 E&O, but I'm thinking from my research that's not enough. So I looked into Berberink, I think it's pronounced, I'm not sure. And I'm looking at $1 million policy. If I get that policy, do I cancel my E&O that's $100,000? And I have that through whoever the vendor is through the NNA. And then I have a second question after that answer. Thank you.
Okay, so if you're going to take on a different, larger policy, then yes, you're going to want to cancel the one you have with the NNA, and that's Merchant Bonding Company. And you would just call the NNA customer service and they can help you take care of that.
Perfect. Question number 2, on the signature, AKA affidavit, okay? On the line where they sign and date their name, they sign and date their name as is written underneath that line. I understand that, okay? But when they have other names written under the AKA, like let's just say it's John E. Doe, right? But they have another variation like John E. Doe, and then maybe the other variation is E. John Doe, okay? How would they say that, no, I do not sign as E. John Doe? I'm thinking they're supposed to cross it out with the line, initial, and then put never known as. But the John E. Doe, they are kind of known as that, except for the period. So would they say never known as, or would they sign as John E. Doe, which is different from signing as John E. Doe?
Okay, Gia. So I'm from your description, the ones that I've handled have separate signature lines for those different variations, which
Yes.
I am not notarizing. I'm notarizing the one sample signature that's usually at the top. And I encourage them to sign off on the different variations unless it's an obvious issue for them. And when it is, then I don't have them strike anything. I have them put never known as, and they're next to the name that they have concern with, right next to it. And on the line where they would have signed some kind of variation, sign their correct signature. And so that is my process. Bill, do you have a different one?
No, that's pretty much it. I set the expectation. I just let them know, hey, the lender wants you to sign exactly as the variation says, even if it's weird and wrong letters and misspellings. That's what the lender's expecting. Most people I have found in my experience just go, they're like, roll their eyes. They're like, whatever, let's just get through this. And they go through it. When they have a really strong stance against it, that's when I say, if you, well, you could possibly say never known as right here, but I always like to just tell them, sometimes that raises a red flag, guys. So just so you know, the lender sometimes has an issue with that. And they'll either just sign it as they are, or they'll say, forget it, not my problem. I'm writing never known as, or they'll just sign as their normal signature is as well. It's rarely presented a problem.
Okay, I just want to clarify. Are you saying that that variation that's not like their signature, they're supposed to sign, like if it's E. John Doe, they're supposed to sign E. John Doe?
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
That's why
Okay.
they break it out that way.
Thank you.
You got it. Now, also, there's a caveat there too, right, Laura? Because lenders can be different. They have different variations of that form as well. So I just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, absolutely. There are some different variations. And, you know, where my experience is when they have a real issue with it is when it's like they accidentally put the wife's name on their document, or the lender, not the lender, but the loan officer's name somehow got on there. It's something really obvious that has nothing to do with them.
Or the really big one is when their first wife, like 3 wives ago, is listed and they've got to sign that, or husbands or whatever. That usually can be a trigger for some people.
Right. Okay. Thank you very much.
Hi, this is Laura Lee from New York. I experienced at a loan signing, when I checked the identification of his driver's license, opposed to the way he was signing, it was completely different. It looked like chicken scratch the way he had signed it on his license. So what I asked him, once I asked him to sign the way he signed the other business transactions, in relation to the loan, throughout the loan agreement. What I asked him, I said, did you specifically sign the way you're signing on your driver's license? He said, no. I said, can you show me the way you've been signing all the documents all along in the process? And then what he did, it wasn't script, but it looked like he printed it his name. So I asked him to be consistent with what he was doing throughout the loan process. Was that incorrect?
Bill, what do you think about that?
So I'm having a hard time. Consistency is key, Laura, but to get right into that situation, it's really difficult to do. But I got to pause you right there because we got some people who had questions before.
Oh, so sorry.
Yep, no problem.
So sorry.
No problem. We got an order that we're going in here. So we're going to move into, I think, Patricia Bridges. Is that right?
Yes, that would be right. Thank you.
Patricia Bridges in Chicago, Illinois. Oh, she may have just dropped off.
I didn't have my hand up. I'm sorry.
There you go. No, she did. I just took it off. Go ahead, Patricia.
Oh, I did. Well, then I love your hair too, Laura. And I don't have I don't have a question for today, except for to say hello to everybody. I apologize. I might have done that accidentally.
Okay.
I'm easily excitable in Illinois today. It's pretty cold.
Gotcha.
Cami Corvin from California. I think you are next.
Oh, well, thank you, everybody. Hi, Laura. Hi, Bill. Glad to be here as always, and members of the group. And Laura, your hair looks great, almost like mine. Well, you can't tell because I just got a different picture up, but that's okay. But anyway, so can we do win-wins? Is that for today also, or no?
No, Cammie, that's more for office hours. This is direct
Okay.
questions. If you don't mind, let's just keep a question going.
Okay, so here's my question. I have through a signing service that I've been doing signings with on a regular basis. They really, really like me a lot. And now they want to forego the signing service and go directly to me. I don't think that's poaching. I've been doing it a long time with the signing service through SnapDocs. And so I don't think that that would be poaching. Question mark.
Yeah, Laura, you want me to jump in on that one first?
Yeah, and so you're not working with individuals, you're working with off the platform SnapDocs, and the signing service is working through SnapDocs.
Correct. And this is an attorney that's with a really huge corporation, and she's the director. And there's a lot of different, documents overseas and things like
I
that.
just want to make sure I understand. Okay, Bill, go ahead.
First of all, Cammie, awesome, and congratulations.
I know, right?
So here's what really happens if you follow a lot of the guidelines that Laura, Carol, me, we teach, and you're just kicking butt at this job, and you allow your personality to show up, and you really own this is going to happen over and over again. People are going to be attracted to you. They're going to want to work with you. It is not poaching from the other side. There's no poaching when a signing company or a escrow officer or an attorney says, I want to work with you. Poaching is an intent on our part as loan signing agents to say, okay, I got this signing from this escrow officer through this signing company. So now I'm going to intentionally, it requires intent, say, I'm going to cut that signing company out and go after their client. They've been building this relationship. I don't care. I'm going to cut that and I'm going to try to infiltrate that. That's poaching. So what you've described is definitely not poaching. That's a client saying, I really like you, Cammie. I like your style. I think we're a good fit. And I think I'd like to shift my relationship now to work with you directly.
Okay, good. Yeah, that's what I thought too, because they actually have 3 direct people that they actually want to do this with, other attorneys and other notaries that they want to go direct. They want to cut out they're not happy with the signing service, obviously.
Yes, and that's the great opportunity that I think we have right now. One of the downsides to scaling up a signing company right now, and I know there's signing company owners here, there's people who have aspirations of starting a signing company, but one of the biggest challenges you will have now and in the future is how do you scale and maintain a level of customer service that your clients appreciate and they're craving. And right now, there's very few companies who have solved that problem, because these blast texts just go out to notaries where they don't have control over the quality. So escrow officers and attorneys are just sick of all the mistakes, the basic level mistakes that keep getting returned to them, the attitudes when something goes wrong. They're just over it. They want a professional level notary. So that's the problem that has to be solved. Until the signing company solves that, there is this huge opportunity where escrow officers and attorneys are going to be reaching out direct. Plus, it gives us the opportunity to reach out directly and forge those relationships ourselves and build that kind of direct connection. So that's an awesome opportunity there. And I lost my
Thank you. And one last thing, when I go on signings lately, there's been a lot of realtors that have, coming along, which for me is ting, 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 ting. So I always, give them a pen and a little book and say, hey, did you know that you could have your own notary? Hopefully that's not poaching either, right? Because they're going to their escrow officer, and then the escrow officer, a lot of times will use a signing service, but then they'll recommend me and then they'll actually assign it to me anyway.
Again, not poaching, Cammie, at all.
Right.
Building relationships, poaching requires an intention to steal a customer away from somebody.
Okay.
If you're building a relationship with a real estate agent, that's awesome. These real estate agents can be great advocates and partners in our business.
Oh, yeah.
We can be awesome for them too. And you just build that relationship and then maybe get introduced to their escrow officer down the road when they see what value you bring to the table. And I'd love to hear Laura's take on this as well.
Well, I agree, especially with the real estate agents. There's it hasn't even gotten to title yet. I mean, it hasn't even gotten over to that next stage. So this is a great part in the process to be upstream as much as you can, so that you can get in there before a service gets in there. So I think that's a great plan, and I think it's great that you're having that opportunity. I love when real estate agents are part of my signing. It is the opportunity for me to shine, and so I love that. And I have gotten 2 real estate agents who now I am their notary, and they won't work with that title company unless they'll allow me to be the notary.
Exactly.
So get it, write it.
Good. Thank you. That's my plan. And they are kind of a bang in the buck there for us all. And we should all be paying attention to them because they're really where it is. So thank you very much, guys. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
And if I can, I just want to elaborate a little bit too, because there's a little more, we have to pan out just a little bit more on this decision, right? So if you're working with a signing company that gives you so much volume, they're giving you 100, 125 signings a month. And then all of a sudden, one of their clients says, you know what, I don't want to work with them anymore. I want to work with you directly. But they only have 5 or 6 signings a month. You have to make a decision, because if that signing company hears about you going directly with that client, they may cut you off from all the other signings they have. So there's a bigger relationship. You have to decide what works for you and what doesn't, right? So if going direct with one customer is worth it to you, great, but it might cost you those 97 other signings. There's other things that balance here. I don't know if I clarified that, Laura, perfectly. Did I?
Well, yeah. And that is, we don't know all the details of this particular situation. Every one of them are going to be different. And you need to decide, is that signing service providing me a bigger pipeline that I may close off in order to establish this direct? And the answer may be yes, because I want to get away from that. And this is an opportunity. Or the answer may be, I can't take that cut in volume right now. Then the answer would be no. Thank you, but I need to be loyal to the company.
Exactly. That's it. And always remember, when it comes to these situations, perception is reality. Yeah. If a signing company just even perceives that you're trying to poach their customer, they may take action on that. So there's a lot of balance there. It's worth stopping to think about. And then Laura, Nick Colville, the founder of Jurat Inc. and the eNotary Journal, just asked if he could comment on this as well. Do you mind?
Yeah, go ahead, Nick.
Nick, you want to pop in on that?
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Sure can.
Awesome. So my name is Nick, and I love this question. I want to speak on it just very quickly on behalf of owning a signing service myself and having built that signing service from just being a notary. So both ends of the spectrum there. And I'm in a position now where I'm not really in the field anymore unless I'm specifically requested by a specific client. For example, Silicon Valley Bank is one of our clients, and they have very high end, they're just high touch clients. And sometimes, as you guys talked about, you don't know what you're going to get when you go through a signing service aid like SnapDocs, which is what we use for our nationwide stuff. But interestingly, I just wanted to point out that it is super important to remember that many of the title companies require a different type of verification and approval process for an individual to function on their files. And so that means you might be approved to work under a signing service, but you would not be able to work for that same escrow officer on those same files by yourself. And the approval process, for example, when I have a new notary come under myself, I just reach out to Fidelity's upper management and the approval department, and within one day, they'll put that person under my company's list as an approved vendor. But the process, if you as an independent contractor were to try to get F&F's business by yourself, that approval process is completely different. And I've heard stories of it taking a year plus to get that verification and approval. So along with everything else that Bill and Laura have said, you also have to consider the logistics of, can I even legally perform work for this title company or for this entity outside of the signing service, which would already have been approved. Thanks, guys. I just wanted to throw that in there as a signing service owner myself.
Yeah, thank you, Nick. Appreciate that perspective, and that's very true. Yeah, sometimes the grass is always greener. When you jump from working as an independent contractor with signing companies, I made this mistake at one point. I just jumped right in. I just said, yes, I'd love to work with you directly. And then they had a $5 million E&O insurance requirement. And at the time, I mean, it was really expensive. I think it was like $400 a month or something just for the E&O insurance. This is back in like 2012 or 2013. So there's a lot to consider when you're making these kind of decisions.
Yeah.
All right. Great question. Thanks, Cammie.
We're ready for Jackie. Jackie, you're available?
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks so much. This is great information. My question is, I recognize that we are responsible for securing our documents for our signings and on our laptops, as well as what we print out. But can you share, like, what is your system as to when you get rid of the documents? And is there ever a time that, like, if there was an IRS audit or something, you would have to prove, something about the signings you did? So what's your system on how and when you totally get rid of the documents?
Okay. Do you want me to go first, Bill? All right. So two different questions in there. I have been through an IRS audit, by the way, so I know what they went after. And what I keep, what they needed as my proof was the confirmations, not the loan documents, just the confirmations, check vouchers. That part of it was my filing that they went through to tie how I tracked my income coming in. Regarding getting rid of the documents, of course, I print the documents and the documents go back where they go. The other set goes to the client. What's left is what was on my system, and I delete those files from my system. Typically, once a week, I go through and I start deleting the stuff before. Some people say I wait till I get paid and then I delete it. But you want to have some kind of tickler in place or something to remind you to go back and get rid of those documents that are sitting in the memory. Bill?
Yeah, I try not to keep anything for any period of time. Like if it means that I'm inconvenienced and I have to run by and pick something out or have an escrow officer send them back over, I'd rather that than have my computer hacked and have documents stolen or be responsible for that personal information. I do most of my signings are escrow direct, and I pick up the documents and I drop them off. So I don't have to print as much anymore, but I'm not hanging on to those for any amount of time past at least funding, right? And I do a lot of purchases. So there's no reason for me to hang on to these for 30 days or whatever. I don't worry about my clients coming back and say, oh, this wasn't included, you messed up. I don't have that kind of relationship. I have a professional relationship where I trust them, they trust me. If they say it wasn't there, I just roll with it. We don't hate each other. We don't bill each other. We don't do that kind of stuff. So I don't see a need for keeping this stuff.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Got it.
Owner. There's an owner in the house. Are you with us? I'd say your name, but I only see owner.
Maybe you're mispronouncing it, Laura. Maybe it's owner.
Oh, owner.
All right. Owner will skip.
Back to you.
Linda Stern from California. Linda Stern, you're still on mute.
There we go.
There we are.
All right.
Alrighty. So I have a particular escrow agency that I work with frequently that has a notary block on this one form, and it just all it says is sworn to before me on this blank date, period. how do I handle that? Is that just an oath?
Would you,
Am I-
Linda, would you repeat that just a little more slowly, what it says?
Oh, I'm sorry, I talk fast. It says sworn to before me on this blank date, period.
That's an
all
oath.
it says.
Yeah,
Yes, it's
that
an
would be an oath to me. It would not be a jurat, so I would not have to worry about complying with California, you know, the block at the top, the notice box. I would just fill it
Okay.
out, stamp and sign. And for
Oh, I
those
can-
who want to know why I know that, it's because in a jurat, we are certifying two separate things. One is that they signed it, and the other one is that they took an oath. And so there were two different certifications. In this case, it said nothing about certifying the signature, so that's why it was the oath only, and that would be the notarial act.
And I can just do that then.
Yes,
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
you're welcome. Okay. Where are we at? Jane? Are you with us, Jane? Because you're still muted. There she goes.
Okay, can you hear me?
I can,
Okay,
Jane.
yeah.
What state are you from?
Oh, California. I'm calling you from work.
Okay.
So hopefully I won't be too loud. Yes, I have two documents that I'm going to be signing. One of them, it's going to be a handwritten power of attorney. So I'm thinking for that one, they're just going to copy it from the internet so they can use it for medical purposes. So I'm thinking with that one, I'll just need to add my certificate, right? Not stamp it on it or anything, just add my certificate to that. And I did tell them that I'm not validating, that I'm not making it legal, that I am witnessing the person signing because that's what they want. They're going to see if they can get one printed. Is that correct on that?
Okay, Jane. So first of all, it's fine that it's a handwritten document. We can notarize those. You would add a certificate to that. However, you don't know what the right kind of certificate is supposed to be for that document. And it is up to the signer to direct you. So please just remember, so we don't step into the unauthorized practice of law, that we don't say, oh, that's probably an acknowledgement. We're going to say, here's what an acknowledgement does. Here's what a jurat does. Which one do you think is right for you?
Okay, yes, I was thinking, I told her I was going to take my certificates so she can choose.
Okay,
My,
Jane.
my main one, this is the one that I'm more nervous about. It's tricky. This is, well, to me, loan documents are seem to be easier than regular notary work. I have an Oklahoma, it says au pairs form. It's 3-page, and it says that it's application for probate waiver affidavit of heritage. So you're familiar with it? Or do I say the whole
I
title?
think I've seen it once, but what's your question about it?
So on that, at the bottom, it says, oh, it says affidavit, execute this affidavit and acknowledge to me. So I know I'm going to add my certificate to it because it's, it mentions both, right? I know that I was trying to review some of your, the forms that you had, and I find something similar. I remember that you said some of them we can use the out-of-state forms.
If it's an acknowledgement and it's not a hybrid, yes, you can use the acknowledgement form from any other state. But the word before acknowledge, would you read that sentence again? Because it didn't quite sound right to me.
It says to known to me to be the identical person. Sorry, they emailed this to me. So it's tiny, identical person who executed this affidavit and acknowledged to me that she executed the same as free and a voluntary act.
Okay.
But above that, their paragraph said that they are attesting upon oath that the information contained in the affidavit is true.
Okay. So there are two different notarial acts happening here. The first one is an oath. They need to swear that the information is truthful, and they separated that out from the acknowledgement. So you could fill out, you have two choices. You could fill out the acknowledgement, give them the oath. In your journal, you're going to indicate you perform two different notarial acts. Since they separated it out, you can do it that way and just fill out their paperwork. The other option you have is to attach a California jurat, because in it, it's going to make them swear and you're going to watch them sign, which takes care, which is even better, you know, than just having them tell you. So you could do that to incorporate that. Where is this? Let's see, this is probably going to probate court.
Then
with
they're
it?
gonna go to court, and it's also a signature bar mark. So getting all this. So yes, as they said, they're just all going to court, that everyone, they're inheriting money, so they're all
Sure.
going to go to court.
All right, so those are your choices. Is you do have the ability to give them the oath verbally and just fill out the bottom section, or you could attach the jurat, which shows that they gave an oath. The reason I'm giving you this alternative is that in the oath that's provided there, there's no certificate, right? There's nowhere for them to, for you to stamp and sign that part of it. You can only stamp and sign the acknowledgement part below. Is that correct?
Well, it's one block, and it says on the same block, it says affidavit and acknowledge to me. That it's on the
Right.
that
So,
block. And it doesn't seem
okay,
like
hold on,
there's more
Jane.
room.
Jane, let me help you here.
Okay, sorry.
In California, if the document is named as, the information is named as an affidavit, in the Secretary of State handbook, it does say that we may attach a jurat when the document has been identified as an affidavit. So that's the other reason why I'm recommending you could do that instead of filling out what is there.
Okay.
But you're going to need to make that choice because you're there in the seat, not me.
No, I was thinking the jury. I just wasn't sure if, based on what your videos, if this is what was considered a hybrid. You
A
know,
hybrid is
notarial-
where, Jane, a hybrid is where it would be subscribed and sworn and acknowledged, right? It's all in the same sentence. That's what a hybrid is.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
You're so welcome. All right. I think we're ready for manual.
Hi, my question is, I am the second notary in a split signing that is happening tomorrow. The first signing is signing today. How do I go about the date on my second signer? Because the instruction says both signers must sign on the 25th, but my signer signed on the 26th. That's one of the instructions. So I'm afraid to call the title and say, hey, do you want my signer to cross out the wrong day and put the right day? I don't know, how do I go about addressing this issue?
Bill, do you want to go first on that? Do you want me?
Yeah, definitely. Well, is it manual or Manuel?
Either is fine.
Either one works. Thank you. So I think you trust your gut. You don't call and ask them if they want to strike through and backdate or anything like that. I would imagine there's an expectation that the customer knows, or the client knows, that the signer will be signing on the 26th. If the signature lines, or if the dates are incorrect, like pre-populated them, I would have them strike through, change the date to the date they are actually physically sitting in front of you and signing that document. Yes, but you can absolutely confirm that if you want to. The most important part of this is that your notarial certificates are correct. So you're going to add your own if the escrow officer has not already included those to the notarized documents, so that those notarial certificates actually say appeared before me on January 26, 2022, and you're stamping and or sealing and signing those certificates on the proper date.
And there you have it.
So how about if the deed of trust is dated on like today's date, but my signer is doing it obviously tomorrow on the actual document?
Yes, documents can be dated in front or behind. Document dates is what I'm talking about. And that is not an issue for the notary because it's part of the document content. Our concern is the date on the certificate, as Bill pointed out.
Even for the notice of right to cancel, that has to be changed if it has the wrong date.
Yeah, that does have to be changed. It has to be calculated based on the day that you were with them.
Okay, all right, thank you so much.
And it's usually the latest signer dating on
Mhm.
those manual.
All right, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, I can't see the next one, Bill. Sorry. Let's see. Oh, it's Megan.
Megan, yep.
Hello from Michigan. Thanks for calling on me. Quick question for you. I think I'm doing this correctly, but just wanted confirmation. Misspellings of the signer's name. This morning I had one, it was before title was open. So we just crossed out, she printed her correct spelling, initialed, and then signed obviously with her correct. It's one of those like Darcy and they added an I or an E at the end instead of just DARCI. But my question is when you get to the signature affidavit, should she be, so I had her add in Darcy on the blank lines that say also known as, and then also correct the signature line. Is that how you would go about correcting the signature affidavit?
I don't know, Bill, I can go first. So Megan, that sounds like that would be the right way to handle it. The only thing I would say is when it's a loan package versus when I'm doing specialty work, then I always check to see how they want that handled. And I can even suggest, you know, in other signings, this is how we've corrected it. How would you like it done? And the reason I get permission is that I'd rather take the few minutes at the moment than get a package back, because that's not what they wanted to do. When I'm doing specialty work and I'm just working directly with the signer and their own documents, they can make their own decisions. But in a loan signing, I always end up checking because I want to make sure it's being handled the way they want to receive it. Bill,
Sure.
Want to add to that?
I just know when we're at the table at 8 a.m. and they were closed. So you're kind of, you're in a, what do I do situation really quick.
Well, you made a good choice.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't know if that.
Before you send the package away.
I did tell him. Yeah. I sent an email.
Bill, did you want to add anything to that?
It's pretty much the same thing. So here's the trap I fell into, is that I like to systemize everything and I like things to work the same way every time. So I started changing things the same way that one client liked it changed. And I learned real quick that every closing agent, every lender, sometimes every signing company can be different on their preferences on that. So I'm proactive, and if I can, I just find out ahead of time how they want it corrected.
Okay, thank you.
You got it.
You're welcome. Okay, Vince, your turn. Why don't you go ahead and unmute yourself? Tell us where you're from.
I am from, thank you all for having this call. I'm here in Los Angeles, California. Still fairly new. I got my commission back in July, and things were very slow until maybe the tail end of let's say October. And so from October to now, I have like 30 signers under my belt. So it's sort of picked up, but I'm still seeing that I'm getting too far in between signings, and I would like more volume. And I've, have signed up to multiple signing companies, SnapDoc signing orders, that sort of thing. Made so many calls to different escrow companies out here, and it starts to, you start to feel that burnout of just calling, and then you start wondering, oh, okay, what am I missing here, or what else could I do? I've heard of things of, going to different offices and dropping off cookies, donuts, coffees, and that's gas money and time spent. And, I'm just trying to be a little bit more efficient. So I'm just curious as to what more can I do to make sure that I'm, basically building this up to where I can do this on a regular basis, as opposed to, doing 2 signings today and then not getting another one for maybe like another week or so.
Bill, do you want to tackle that?
Yeah, sure. Great, Vince. Welcome to the biz, and thanks for bringing this up. I think there's a couple different ways to go with this. So I'll do a kind of a overview of some of the things, and then maybe Laura and I can even tag team on this, because I think if we want to build a business that's going to last all the time, right? We want notary business, whether interest rates are 2% or whether they're 7%. We've got to do a few things. And the first one is, let's just start with where you're at with signing companies. If you signed up with a few or several signing companies, there are hundreds. You've heard me talk about Carrie Rivera's Notary Reviews. She's got a list of over 900 vetted signing companies that you can evaluate, see the reviews, and get connected with there. And then, so that's going to be one component of that. The other component is to do exactly what you're doing with the Escrow Direct. I love that you're taking this on. What I might suggest is, as exhausting as it is for you to make those phone calls, imagine what it's like to receive them. Those guys are getting sold all day, every day, and it does not work. So you got to get creative, and you got to find a unique way to get your foot in the door. I did that just because I was a shy introvert and didn't want to knock on doors or pick up the phone. So I did it via email. So via email and LinkedIn, I have built a multiple six-figure business. It can be done. I teach this in my morning mastery course, just the very specifics of what I did. So you can research who's working at the office. You can find ways to connect and just continue to outreach and set yourself up on a system of follow-up. You don't have to invest in the pop-ins, and all that stuff works. There's so many different ways to success in this business. All of it will work. But if you want to find a way where you can do it from your office chair, you can absolutely do it. And then the third component, or the third leg of this, I'll say, is you got to diversify your business. There's life beyond loan signings. So if you do those things and you still don't have the volume or the results that you want, get into the specialty notary work. You know, you've got the expert right here. You got Laura that talks about specialty notary work all the time. Depending on the state that you're in, you can really build a strong, stable business with this. Laura, what would you say on that too?
Yeah, Vince is in the right state because it's California. So, you know, the travel fees and all the other services that we leverage and charge for create very lucrative opportunities for us. And if you're willing to go into hospitals, skilled nursing, all those kind of places, there's the net is so much better because I'm not printing 2 sets of 150 pages before I go somewhere. I'm not dealing with an escrow company. I'm dealing right with the signer or the patient, as the case may be. So I have, this happened to me back in 2008 personally, where I went from a huge number every month of signings to 0, like December to January. And that happened in 2008 when the market just blew apart. And I had to figure out right away, how am I going to stay in business? And what I realized is that there's lots of documents that need to be notarized, not just loan signing documents. And I was doing them here and there, but I decided to target, and that's the difference. Pursuit is really the difference. And so rather than haphazardly allowing jobs to float to you because they accidentally found you, pursue it. And the way you pursue it is find out what's special about that industry or that environment or those documents. Once you find out that, practice, get to know what those documents are about. And once you've got that, you want to start getting into those places. And depending on what kind of place it is, attorney is a different approach than a hospital, right? And so you can learn a lot about that. I do have a video series called Laura Biewer Presents, where I spent time recording this kind of information to help you figure out how to add and just pick one specialty at a time. It could be apostille work. I love that one in particular. So that would be a way for you to learn what are some specialties, what do I need to know about them, and how can I get in there and get some of that? Because you know what, if you rely on loan signings, which is tied to real estate, which means we know what real estate does. It goes up, it goes down, and there's a big influx of notaries. And when the interest rates climb and people can't refinance, those are the first jobs that slow down, right? And it goes up a little more and then purchases slow down. So you need to have other eggs in your basket.
Right.
I think that expansion will help give you a better foundation regardless of what real estate is doing. And it's what has made my business sustainable. I've been doing this 18 years.
Mm. Where can I find the Laura B Presents? Is that on YouTube or website?
I just posted the link in the chat. It's coachmelora.com/products, or just coachmelora.com. It's also on the Notary Coach website too, so you can check that out. The other thing that I want to kind of bundle this up with too is there's a lot of us that have tried, right? Like Vince said that he's been calling around. I saw some comments that I call title companies and they just tell me they have somebody. Here's what you got to evaluate. Results don't lie. So if you're not getting the kind of results that you want, you can just try doing the same thing over and over and over again and hope that you land on a lucky person who's ready for you. Or you can shift your strategy. You can try a different tactic. You can use different words. And I'm going to say this because I already know, after coaching thousands of notaries across the country, and Laura can attest to this too,
yeah,
we all kind of fall into the same trap. We send out an email, we send a LinkedIn message, or we make a phone call where all we do is get a bullhorn and talk about how great we are. We're amazing. I have $100,000 E&O insurance. I have attention to detail. I can do signings 24 hours a day if you want. Yeah, it's the same thing over and over again. And the escrow officer, it gets lost in there because all you're doing is talking about you. Imagine dating somebody like that. It's exhausting. Flip the script a little bit. Do a little bit of upfront research. Find out who's working in that office. Find a way to relate to them and reach out to them. Talk about them. This is awesome. I love the work you're doing. Congratulations on that new development. Congratulations on breaking sales records last year. I see you got the Stewart title contract, whatever it is. You know, reach out and talk about something different that helps you stand out. Get unique and creative when you do it. Find a new approach.
Yeah, that's good advice. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks so much for bringing that up.
Yes, indeed.
All right, Laura, back to you. You can take over.
Okay, back to me. Looks like Darius is going to be next. Are you still with us, Darius?
Hey, can you guys hear me? Can you hear me okay?
You bet.
Hey, what's happening, Laura? What's happening, Bill? How are you guys doing today?
Fantastic.
Excellent.
Wonderful, wonderful. I have a quick question for you, Laura. I went ahead and renewed my notary commission in California. Yes. I beg your pardon?
Sorry, yeah, just had to unmute. All you, Darius.
Okay, yeah. I just went ahead and renewed my notary commission in California. Pretty excited about that. I get sworn in on the 1st.
Yay.
I made a little slight mistake though when I took my test and on my application, as far as my commission name. I actually included my full name. I was just in a hurry and I had another appointment to do the day of the test, and I wrote the whole name out. I wrote my complete name.
Right.
And I was wondering, should I leave it like that, or is it worth going through the whole process of getting it amended to what my last commission was?
Yeah.
My last commission, it was just a little shorter, you know, that middle name.
Sure.
I got 9 letters in my middle name. So,
Yeah.
so
All
I'm
right,
like,
Darius.
and you know, everything that's going on with the Secretary of State, and then the time it takes to get sworn in, you got to make an appointment with the county clerk.
Okay.
Should I just
let me
leave
help
it?
you, Darius. Let me help you. I think I got it.
Okay.
So here's the thing. If you were to say, hey, I want to take that middle name out, you would not have to take the class again or the test again, but you would have to reapply, because that commission that you have now would not be good anymore. And you'd have to pay the fees.
The whole new stamp. Yeah, get a new stamp. Go
Plus
down
buy a
and
new
get sworn
stamp.
in.
Plus you have to amend your bond. If you have E&O, you got to amend that as well. So
Okay.
there's a lot of cost and time involved in doing that. In the meantime, if you just leave it how it is, where it's impacting you is where you have to print your name in the certificate for the acknowledgement, because we don't even put it in the jurat. So in the
Okay.
acknowledgement, you're going to have to take a few more seconds to print that middle name so it matches your stamp.
Okay, perfect. Time wise, aside from the cost, time wise, do you think that's like a 2 to 3 months, to get back in there, file everything with the Secretary of State, get
It
back in
could be a
there.
couple months at least.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna leave that the same.
Okay, you'll know next time.
Yes, indeed. Thank you guys so much. Thank you.
Thanks for being here, Darius.
Uh-huh.
All right, Tam. Where are we at? 10 minutes. Tam, if you'll unmute yourself. 10-minute warning.
We can skip Tam for a little bit. We can go to Francis.
Okay.
I'm here.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Tam.
Okay.
Hey, it's been a while since I've been able to attend. I'm here in Oregon, and I had a situation come up. I did a signing back in January of last year, and the first part of October, I received a call from the people. Some auditor said some documents were missing, that I didn't notarize them and they weren't signed. But yet when I went to my logbook, I had put the acknowledgement and the oath of those specific documents. They were in my book. So they wanted me to drive somewhere an hour one way to correct this. The problem is I was getting ready to go out of state for over a week, and I told them I can't take care of this right now, and why are they just getting a hold of me now?
Right.
But I can deal with it when I return on October 11th. Well, the problem is the couple I went to, who were wonderful, they had reached out to me. But when my husband was picking me up from the airport and we were on our way back home, sorry, my granddaughter's with me. We were in a very serious car accident, and I received 2 traumatic brain injuries, and I'm just now getting back to things. And I haven't been able until now. I want to approach the company because I don't want them to think I was negligent, but I am concerned. Why am I being contacted almost 10 months later about documents? And how many people have handled that? And how do I handle this situation? Because it's the only one I have had, and I do want to be professional about it. And so that's the biggest issue for me right now.
Bill, you want to jump in first?
Yeah, I can do that. Tam, I'm so glad that you are here, and thank you for sharing what happened. I had noticed that I hadn't seen you in a while, and I'm wishing you well on your recovery for this. So my approach, though, to how to fix this is transparency and communication. First of all, I have found that most people are just pretty cool, right? You can have a conversation about what happened, what the situation was. They're going to be understanding or they're not, but whatever, we've got to have that conversation. So just face it head on, and then do whatever you can to take care of it. When it comes to receiving notification about errors later in the fact, this happens a lot. Okay. There's a quality control department for the quality control department for the quality control department of some of these lenders. And these loans get sold on the secondary market sometime. Tam, I'm just going to put you on mute just so I can talk with alone there. Yeah. So when the loan gets sold on the secondary market, the new lender's quality control department goes through all the documents to make sure that everything's right. So if the first lender or even the second lender may have missed something, right, they'll find it, and then they'll go back and they try to do whatever they can to make it right. I don't make a big deal out of this. If they need it fixed and I can legally fix it, I'm going to do whatever I can to get it done, because I've got client relationships on the line. There's a much bigger picture here, and I don't want my attitude or one situation to affect my entire relationship. So I just, even if I have to pay a notary $100, $150 to go out and fix it, that $100, $150 is a $2, $3, $4 million contract sometimes. So I just do whatever I can to get it fixed, and just know that that does happen sometimes. Laura, what do you say?
Yeah, I've had this happen. It was like 9 months later. And it was because it was sold on the secondary market, and that's why it happened. And of course, I'm much more limited. In Oregon, I believe you can make corrections if you verify in your journal that you in fact did notarize it and you have all that information. However, Oregon doesn't say you can replace entire certificates. It says you can correct ones that they find errors on. It can't be substantial. So I think what Bill's saying is exactly right, is that you reach out and you say, look, I'm here now. Let's see what we can do to make this work. There are some things I can do, and there's things I can't do. And when you know that before you have that phone call, what can we do now to make this right? We just need to make it right. What needs to happen?
Okay, just a quick question or quick clarification. No, I notarized those documents. It's in my log,
right,
my journal, but they were saying they were totally missing from the loan package almost 10 months later.
And that can happen.
Yeah.
You're right. Other people handled it. Who knows? You did your job. But what Bill's saying is they're needing your assistance now.
Okay, well, the problem is this was back in October. I told them I would handle it when I returned, but coming from the airport that week, I would have handled it. That's when the accident was.
Sure.
Okay, so is it safe? So for accountability and transparency reasons, that it would be appropriate to let them know, hey, this is what happened. This is why I'm only able to get back to you now. Yeah. Can I assist? If not, please know this is why it happened and yada, yada, correct?
That's it.
Okay, and then Laura, just a real quick, I'm sorry if I'm taking up other people's time, but Laura, I've talked with Bill about this in the past, but I actually did purchase your library, access to your library, because I am finding that a lot of my calls, and I appreciate the reality that we need to diversify, a lot of the calls, even though they're hard, are the hospice, the hospital, and everything. And so actually, I'm actually stepping back because of what happened from the signing, because that's a lot of work. But I am still able to do the hospice and the POAs and that type of stuff. So that's what I'm working with mostly right now until I find my new normal. So thank you both very much.
You're so welcome, Tam. Thanks for sharing that. Okay, so let me see where we're at. We have time for one more, I think. And is it Francis? If you're with us, Francis, could you unmute? There you go.
Yes, I did. Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Bill. This is Francis in the East Valley of Phoenix, Arizona. So this question maybe we'll table for next week if you believe it involves more explanation in response to it, but it has to do with securing our data. So for instance, there's, I do get signings from the National Scheduling Department for Old Republic, and they don't have a portal and documents to scan back documents. And so they stated that typically, and the file size is often too large to attach to an email. So then they need to be broken up and sent in multiple emails. Well, my question is, how secure, how do I, that doesn't appear to me to be a secure way to send back signed documents. And how can I look to make that more secure to protect myself? But then the other question is, there are companies that cannot receive like a zip file. So when you attempt to condense a file, they literally cannot receive that. They're not authorized or able to open that per their corporate policy. So I'm just starting to think more and more about cybersecurity. How do I send documents securely, or what are the best practices that you and Bill have put into place? Again, I'm not yet a signing service, so I don't have a portal or access to a portal. So just want your initial thoughts on that, and perhaps we'll talk more on the next call if we need to do so.
Sure. I use ourrecords.com.
That's what I was going to say.
And I love that you're even thinking about this, because I'll just call it what it is. Most notaries don't worry about it. A lot of title companies don't worry about it. They just want you to email. They email documents. They want you to email everything back and forth. But information security is extremely important. Everything in a buyer package is literally everything that a thief would need to steal an identity is in those documents. So keep that in mind. And I just posted the record or the domain in the chat window, but Our Records is what I use for my signing company. And lots of notaries all over the country use that to send securely.
Is that a portal, Bill?
It's like a portal, but not really a portal. It's just it's a way to send secure documents. So check it out. Go to ourrecords.com. I think they even have a little video about how it works, but.
Okay, that's great. I will do so. And I did add additional coverage when I first got my E&O to cover cybersecurity. I thought, well, let me put it in. It didn't cost much more, but I still feel like I'm not secure. So I appreciate that, and I'll look into it. And also, I'm looking forward to meeting you later today here in Phoenix.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much. I am too. Thanks, Francis. I'm glad you'll be there.
Thank you.
All right, Laura, you want to take us away?
Yeah. Just before I wrap this all up, just a reminder for California notaries to call their assembly members to urge them to vote aye on AB 1093. That's the bill that we're trying to get through so that we too can have Ron in the state of California. So if you haven't done that yet, you can go to calnotaries.org, which is Matt Miller's site for Clint, and he has the links there that you can use to do that. So it'd be much appreciated. And another week, another hour. Thank you so much for bringing all those great questions to us. And we so enjoy having this time to interact with you. Next week, make sure you tune back in, same time, same channel, and we'll see you all then. Thanks for being here today.
See you guys later.
Bye-bye.